Hey, what's up? It's Bon, and today I'm going to talk about the Division and the season 5 finale. And I'm going to talk about it, I guess. If you like the Division, if you like video games in general, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the like button if you like this video. Leave a comment down below if you have your own thoughts about the finale of this season and the year 5, I believe. And if you really want to support my channel, my podcast, my streams, everything I do, consider becoming a YouTube member. Let's talk about the Division 2 and the end of this season of content. So this has had us chasing Agent Kelso. So if you're familiar with the Division 2 at least, she's an agent who's been probably our best confidant, our best ally throughout the second game. And from here on out, it's spoilers. All spoilers, huge spoilers. If you care about the story, if you want to discover it on your own, stop watching the video, come back later, please. But spoilers, I'm just gonna talk about it all. So, one more time. Spoilers. Okay. So they're bringing back Theo Parnell, Aaron Keener, and I think Fei Lau, even though I don't think we see her in the ending cinematic here. But I believe it's implied that Fei Lau is alive, that Aaron Keener, we know, is alive, and so is Theo Parnell. The way this plays out is at the end, if you haven't played it or if you just want to recap, and I'll do my best, your best bet for recaps and kind of how this actually fits into the story is probably to check out NGN or Rogue Gold. I know they'll do some good videos about this stuff. I'm just kind of going off the cuff and kind of giving my feelings on it. So basically, you're tracking down Kelso for this whole season. Her watch pings in the old oil tanker in that mission. You get to a point where there's a shade cache sitting in the middle of this area. You go up to it, it electrocutes you the same way it did to Kelso in that security footage we had from a previous part of this manhunt. Someone walks up to you and I guess copies your watch, the data off of it. They unlock the shade cache, they take something out of it, and they walk away, and they're referred to as Vanguard. During this mission, they're talking about how Cassandra is in the area, or maybe supposedly here, which is the code name for Fei Lau, which was obviously strange if you've been following the story. And then after that happens, this Vanguard walks away with a briefcase. We get a cutscene that shows them walking on the Brooklyn Bridge, getting into a van where it's revealed to be Keener. And then Theo Parnell is in there too, and Agent Kelso is driving. It's implied that Kelso has gone rogue with the re-alived Keener and Theo. I believe it's also implied that Faye is still alive, and it's under the idea that Calvin McManus is now in the line of succession for president, is now in charge of SHD of the Division, was also in charge of the Hunter program, which was in theory there to get rogue agents under control, and he's allied with Natalia Sokolova, the Black Tusk head honcho. And so I guess the idea is that essentially the Division is compromised due to its leadership, and that the only way to stop the Black Tusk, Natalia Sokolova, Calvin McManus, the Hunters, and is to go rogue, because that's the opposition of them now. And then they take off to Brooklyn, and I assume, we know that it's been basically confirmed that the next bit of story, the DLC that's coming out now, it's been delayed to next year, is going to take place in Brooklyn, and that I assume we're going to play out the rest of what I would imagine is the sun setting of the Division 2 and its story as it leads into the next game. I'm basically of two minds on this. On one hand, I get it. Like Lauren Stone, the writers, the narrative folks at the Division have always wrote like cool story. In my opinion, the looter shooter genre and the style of games really handcuffs story and makes it really hard to tell compelling story. And I think they've done a pretty exceptional job over the years of still managing to create a really cool world and tell some cool stories in a format that is just really hard. It's not really, I don't think these games, these type of this genre of gaming is really meant to tell really cool stories, and I think the Division has still managed to do it. So none of the negative opinions I'm probably about to talk about with this is anything personal with them. They are doing, they know more than I do. You know, I have to imagine, as especially over the last probably year or two, maybe longer, when they've probably almost definitely longer, when they've started considering like, okay, we're gonna make a Division 3. What are we gonna do for that? And I guess, and this is still on the hand where my understanding side, right? I assume there was the idea, like I just can't tell, and we may never know if when they were killing these characters off, if even then the intent was for them to be like, just kidding, they actually are alive. They were doing this rogue thing in the background the whole time. I don't believe that. I really don't. I think if that was what they were doing all along, they would have made the way those people died a little more like Keener would have, like, we would have blown him up and he would have flown out and, you know, off the dock, and we would have never recovered his body, but Isaac would have told us he was dead. And when Theo died, I think Theo dies in the field of battle. Like, I'm pretty sure we see his dead body. It would have been a thing where we, like, he was in a building and we blew up the building and part of it like collapsed and Isaac told us he was dead, but we never found his body. It was unrecoverable, right? And then like when Faye died, there would have been something where like something happened to her that made it so we couldn't recover her, but Isaac told us she was dead. Like, those things would have made this way easier to stomach for me. But because I kind of don't believe this was always the plan, that's not what they did. And now, maybe we'll get more explanation later. It kind of, from listening to the voice comms, I guess it's Termite was the one who revived the people they could. And they tried to revive like Dragov and other ones that didn't make it. So not, you know, they didn't have 100% success rate with trying to, you know, bring people back. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, my guess is they wouldn't be making moves like this unless they felt like this was the best for the future. I just, on the other side, the part of me that's not so understanding, this just, because I don't believe this was always the plan, and I could be wrong, it just feels like they just kind of just retconned half of the post-release content. Like, it seems like, again, I will reiterate for the 1,000th time, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, it's fine. I will never be one to be like, oh, devs were lazy and stuff like that. I know they're not. They work super hard. This stuff's really tough. The layers and the bureaucracy you have to do to make all these decisions, it's challenging, right? But this just kind of feels like, with the prospect of more Division 2 content, and especially Division 3, there was a moment of like, do we start from scratch with our antagonists and protagonists because we've killed off everyone, or do we just go back to old reliables? And that kind of feels like what we're doing. I don't hate it. I like Fei Lao as a character. I'm actually not as infatuated with Keener as other people are. I think he's kind of an F boy, and he gets a lot more credit than he should. But that's obviously not being that's not the path we're going down. We're going down the path that he's this super genius, which is always implied. And then Theo Parnell, that almost feels just like enough people were like, man, Theo was a cool character. I hate that we lost him so quickly. And they're just like, oh yeah, he is a cool character. We'll bring him back. I guess I just wish this felt more natural. And maybe it's been planned this whole time. And I could see they tried to, you know, especially with Keener's mission. And there's been, you know, the dusting of like, oh, hey, you don't know who to trust. You know, Isaac has been wrong before and all that. What I think I'm the most concerned about is that obviously I believe we're supposed to be getting more seasons before the Brooklyn DLC, but I don't really know how that works because Brooklyn was supposed to be the season 4, but they canceled that. So now Brooklyn's going to come with, I guess, season 1 of year 6. And then what's going to be the content after that? I just like this season, the content, the story was interesting. I'm not going to say that it concluded the way I would have preferred necessarily. But the little story bits of following Kelso was interesting. But the actual manhunt was just awful. It was so bad. Like, I thought, like, the actual manhunts got kind of tired, but they were kind of fun. And then the civilian, like, rescue hunts instead, I thought, like, okay, that's a neat twist. It's not really that fun, though. I think it's kind of not great. And then this, like, go to these places and clear them. Like, just really feels like, man, they have like nothing left in the resources. Like this is all they got left to give us is do some bounties and do some control points, and that's all we got, guys. I'm sorry. And then the way this like, I just really worry for the future content because it seems like, I appreciate what they're trying to do, but there just comes a point where if this is the best we can do from a content perspective, not story, I don't really want more of this. Like, just give us a big cutscene and just explain everything that's going to connect this game to the next one, and then replay all the manhunts and do some little modifiers and do some stuff to the game to make it feel playable for people who want to play it for the next 3, 4, 5 years until we get Division 3. And just do that. Like I really hope, because with the way that I don't want to say the quality, because I think they're trying, but just with the quality, how the manhunts I think have slowly kind of gone down. I just really fear what like the end of season 6 is going to look like if we keep on this track. Now, maybe the idea is that because we're going to be leading either into Heartland, maybe leading into Division 3, maybe they'll get a boost to the team, a boost to resources. Maybe we'll see the quality come back up a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. But I understand why. I think I know. Like, I think I understand why they did what they did with this. I just don't think it's ideal, and I kind of would have personally preferred a different tactic. But I'm still in. I'm curious to see where it's going to go, especially with that Brooklyn DLC. It sounds like what it sounds like is going to happen with a potentially like invading like the Black Tusk like bunker or whatever. That seems like it's been implied. That could be really cool. So I'm on board for that. But that's what I think. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, hit the like button if you want more of this kind of content. I kind of cover all kinds of gaming things, especially Division, Mass Effect, stuff like that. Subscribe to the channel. If you really want to support everything I do, consider becoming a YouTube member. Hit the link down in the description of the video so you can see all my socials, all the ways to support any other content I do, including a couple of podcasts that I do run. That's all I have for this one. So until next time.